20 years at AT&T before I joined AT&T Wireless. AT&T bought McCaw Cellular, and there were these phenomenal executives at the top of AT&T Cellular. Wayne Perry, who's in the Hall of Fame, Steve Hooper, the CEO, decided they were going to leave, and AT&T said, how'd you like to go out and be the CEO at AT&T Wireless? And it was probably the best call I ever got. Wireless plans were so complicated, so if I was in my home city making a local call A cents a minute, if I was making a long distance call B cents a minute, that all changed based upon whether I was on that company's network, off that company's network, dependent upon which cellular provider was providing roaming, you name it. So I'm sitting in a presentation. We're going to have these tri-mode devices and phones that worked analog and digital at either cellular or PCS frequencies. So the opportunity was there for the first time to actually put our roaming minutes out to bid. What we learned and understood was customers would pay a premium for simplicity. We came up with the idea of digital one rate, which is just a call's a call. It really transformed AT&T Wireless. It transformed AT&T. And initially what was interesting is there was pushback in the wireless industry, like, these are these big profit centers, you're ruining them. They didn't really grasp how much money we could bring from the wireline business into the wireless industry. And there was so much money there. Let's say I was going to a city where I didn't have a network, let's say St. Louis, and I had 2 carriers there. I had almost monopsony power over the roaming minutes because all the roamers came on AT&T Wireless. You take those 2 years that I was there, we went from a $4 billion company to a $10 billion company in 2 years on the back of digital one rate. The creation of Verizon Wireless, the creation of Singular, they'll tell you, those companies were created to respond to AT&T digital one rate. I left AT&T in 2000, and then I was hired by Sprint. In late 2007, the merger with Nextel wasn't going well.
Unbeknownst to him and many in the outside world, the company was much closer to financial collapse.
You can imagine my shock. I had no idea. We basically had 6 months left to live. The big thing that needed to be changed was our strategy. And we really focused on the customer experience, which had gotten very bad.
He pointed us all in one direction: improve customer satisfaction, improve the customer experience.
What had happened 6 months earlier before I came was the iPhone was launched. Smartphones were big, but they were complicated. So the complexity I saw in the wireless rate plans before, it was a new kind of complexity because now customers are dealing with data charges, text charges, voice charges, very complicated and what have you. So we came up with something called Simply Everything, where it was for 99 bucks a month, just knock yourself out. So we went from losing customers to growing customers at the fastest rate in the industry on the Sprint network as well.
Those commercials with Dan really ushered in a new era of consumer confidence in Sprint when they would see the CEO talking about how much customers mattered.
When I look at companies that have been successful, they generally have very strong cultures with 3 real legs of the stool. Focus on their customers, focus on their people, and some sense of purpose. So we had our 4 Ps of purpose, and the number 1 P was the planet. E-waste was a huge issue. Nobody contributed to e-waste like the cellular industry because we were giving people a free phone, subsidizing every year. So when I was the chairman of the CTIA, we came up with and worked together on new phone manufacturing ULE standards for recyclability and reuse.
He was an advocate for sustainability at Sprint well before that was kind of the fashionable thing to do for corporate America.
He was ahead of the curve. Nobody in wireless was much thinking about how we can be more sustainable.
When I think back at my time at CTIA, what we did to really make it a sustainability-focused industry and the impact we had was pretty significant. It means so much to me because I really do look at the members of the Wireless Hall as my heroes. But it also, to me, I think of why am I in there? And number 1 is the support of my wife, Diane, over the years. But it's really recognition for the great teams of people that I had working for me at AT&T and at Sprint. I mean, just awesome talent. So it means a lot to me on many levels.